Wigan Fans TV first ever mass debate. It's basically, it's new, it's a game. It's a bit like rugby league. It is vicious and brutal. We have two teams of truculent talkers arguing against each other over a single issue related to either Wigan or rugby league in general. And the first issue that they're going to be arguing over is this. This is it. It is Wigan fans should lower their expectations for 2019. So, contentious stuff. So they're going to argue over this, and you have got to choose the winning team. So, responsibility for you there. It's very simple. The way it works is each speaker gets 5 whole minutes to speak. The first minute and the 5th minute are protected. Nobody can interrupt them. But during minutes 2, 3, and 4, members of the other team are allowed to interrupt. But they can't just interrupt willy-nilly, because that would be rude. If you want to interrupt, you've got to say, "Hold my pie." That way the speaker can either decide, yes, I'll let you interrupt, or no, shut up and go away. So those are the rules. And first up, to tell us that we've got to lower expectations for 2019, we have the 4 team. And the first speaker for the 4 team is Mark Illingworth, a man who is faster than ex-Wigan Warriors winger Mark Preston, and that is true. Hello, Mark. Are you there?
Hello. I'm not really sure if I am, to be honest, Matt. I'm just catching up on the rules myself. It sounds like it's going to be very exciting.
It's simple, right? I've got some sound effects to help you. At the end of the first minute, you'll hear this sound. Okay? So at that point, the speakers on the against team know that they can interrupt. So basically, when you hear the neigh, interrupt away. At the end of the 4th minute, you'll hear this sound. When you hear the moo, speaker, it's just you. And at the end of the 5th minute, you will hear this final sound. When you hear the cock, the speech must stop. Okay, so it's that simple. I'm here to help you. Are you ready to go, Mark?
Ready as I'll ever be, Matt.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. Mark, your 5 minutes to persuade us starts now.
Right, okay. So before we say that we Wigan fans need to lower our expectations, we need to set out what our expectations are, do we not? So in the Super League Pod 2019 season prediction voting still open until the 17th of January. Look out for our social media pages for more information. But roughly half of the Wigan fans who voted so far think we'll win the Challenge Cup. Roughly 2/3 of the Wigan fans who voted so far thinks we'll retain our title at the grand final. And on average, the Wigan fans who voted say that Wigan will finish second, first or second, but at worst second in the table, in the chase for the League Leaders' Shield. So then have a look at what all the other fans think, and all the other fans think that we're going to finish 4th. Around a quarter of them think we're going to win a trophy. And the bookies, the title bet sponsors of the Super League Betfred, they have us 3rd favourites for the title and 3rd favourites in the League Leaders' Shield race. So from
Gentlemen,
that,
you can interrupt.
Wigan fans clearly think that we are going to do better than most other people, other fans with their own biases, and the bookies with no bias other than making money for themselves think we're going to do. So we need to temper that a little bit, and there's a few reasons as for why. The first reason why is we've got a new coach coming in, a coach on an interim deal. Who knows how that's going to work? We've never seen that before. What do we do if things go down the pan a little bit and we need to motivate these players? Sack the coach? I don't see how that's going to work. It's interim all the way until 2020. And then Then we've got to look at what we've lost. We've lost, haven't we? We've lost our winning head coach, you know, Sean Wayne. But more importantly than that...
Are you saying no to David?
Looks that way.
I thought you were supposed to say yes to David.
No, it's you. You're the speaker.
You make this decision, Mark.
Well, I want to finish my point on who we're saying goodbye to on the coaching staff first before I'll hold your pie for you, David, which is not just Sean Wayne, who's won us a few titles, but a key piece of our successes since 2010 when our team turned around in Mark Bitcon. We're losing Mark Bitcon. We didn't always outclass our opponents over the last couple of trophy-winning years, but we almost always outlasted our opponents. We've been the fitter side, but lost the man who ran the programs and set those standards. So will we be the fittest side more?
No, but yeah, you can hold.
Talking of losses,
no, hold my pie. Let me speak.
I have done.
Right, you say about the fitness side of things. I mean, these guys are, and also the motivation side and losing the coach. I mean, come on, Mark. These guys are full-time professionals. They're not going to just be like Mark Bitcon's whipping boys, are they? Where what he says goes. They've got a brain to themselves, and overall, you've got the overlords, as I like to call them, Mr. Lenigan and Mr. Radlinski, who are there to make sure that everything carries on in track. So, you know, I don't think fitness should be an issue, really. If we've not learnt anything from Bitcon over the last God knows how many years, then we're in a bad place.
Well said.
I appreciate what you say. I took a big... is that has been the most defining part of the journey. I think we can dismiss as to say that, but though lost some key players. I mean, we've lost our best two from 2018. John Bateman he won the club's Player of the Year. He won the club's Players Player of the Year. We all know exactly how crucial and inspirational he was at times. Whenever things were over the ball to Bateman was the call. So, and Sam Tompkins, who kicking was at 60 odd percent before Tompkins took over, and then it went up to mid-70s. So, you know, we've got to take those things into consideration as well. And then my final point really is, why can't we just enjoy it? The journey is more important than the destination, is what you get told. And we've got lots of fun things along the way on this journey. Why do we need to worry about the destination come October time? We've got Nou Camp. We've got plenty of fun stuff to go through this season before we get to that point. So let's not be worrying about trophies and what we're going to win and what we're not. Let's be entertained. That's what we want. And that's what we should be thinking about, not about how many trophies we'll win. That's kind of it, Matt.
No, you've still got 4 seconds.
Yeah.
It's not it.
Film them.
I don't need 4 seconds. I've made my point.
Thank you very much, Mark. You blinded me with statistics a little bit there, to be honest. So now we're going to have the first speaker for the against team, the optimist, basically. Who's going first, guys? Who is it?
It's going to be Matt.
Am I going first, really?
Yeah, you're going first, Matt.
Okay, so Matthew, I welcome to you. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks. How are you, Matt?
I'm great. The Wigan runner himself. I understand you like a bargain. Yeah? I've heard this rumour about you. Jared Samet, good enough bargain for you?
Yeah, it's a very good deal to me.
Excellent. You see, an optimist. Okay, so you've got 5 minutes to speak. The first minute and the final minute, nobody interrupts you. 3 minutes in between, Mark and Stu might ask to hold your pie. Okay?
Okay.
Are we ready?
Can I just, Matt, before I start, can I just say, I'm actually using what I wrote my notes on, my own Wigan Warriors notebook. If you can see that.
Oh, you are professional, sir. Look at that.
Impressive, very impressive, yes.
I want one of them. Okay, then.
Okay.
Is that your
ready? Mark, are you ready? Stuart, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Pies are ready.
Okay, Matthew, your 5 minutes starts now.
Okay, so basically, I think we've got an opportunity now We have obviously just won Super League. We're on a 13-match winning streak. When we've got the World Club Challenge coming up, we've got a better than ever before an opportunity to put Wigan on the map to the world. If we win that match, we're going to get the 5th star on here forever, and we can basically write history again in just a matter of weeks. So it's probably the most exciting time that we've had since 2 years ago when we was in the same position. There's absolutely no negativity with Wigan. Just the fact that the coaching staff has changed and Wayne's gone, it's not a big deal for me at all. You still, yes, you've got a couple of players that have left, but those 2 players didn't make that team. It's every man that's on the field. We've got more players from Wigan than I can remember for a long time, especially young players like Davis, Powell, Williams, Burgess, Marshall, Manfredi as well. He's just come back from a serious injury, and what a good story that is. What a time it is to be alive and play for Wigan Warriors. You know, in a month's time, they could be... Can I? Oh, what can I do? Okay, go on, I'll let you speak.
It's not about negativity, Matthew. It's not about negativity negativity at all. It's about not burdening ourselves with the expectation that might lead to disappointment when we can just enjoy the ride.
Yeah, the journey. Okay. Can you put your pie back down? You can speak again.
My mouth is full of...
Is that okay? I can't hear anything.
Well, you carry on.
Do I carry on? I carry on. Okay. Yeah, so what I was saying about that, and obviously we've got the opportunity to be the best club in the world now, which will go down in the history books forever. All it is, we need to perform for 80 minutes on those, and that'll go down in the history books forever. Mid-season, people were saying Wayne out. Some people were saying Wayne out. I obviously wasn't one of those people, but those people were criticising the style of play and so forth. But look what happened. Super League works in a way where you perform at the end of the season. That's the most important time when you need to find a way to win. And Wayne perfected that, absolutely perfected that. When he got involved with the club, we were the Neely men. Leeds kept beating us in the playoffs. They keep playing that game style that they did, slowing the clock down. And we had an excuse when we've been the best team this season. And then we slipped it all around and we became that team that performed when it mattered the most. So that team now, even though the management's going to be different, that ethos is still in the team. We've got winning set of players there now. And all of the youth that's in the team, they've come through that at a really young age, being amongst winners. You've still got O'Loughlin and Farrell that lead the way there. Gosh, Leeds wanted O'Loughlin. Everyone wants O'Loughlin. You know, whether he's injured or not, just his presence on the field is like having an extra man. So I think all of that is brilliant. And it's a new direction for the club as well. We've got a new manager, a younger manager, someone that played for Wigan. Was it about a decade ago when Lamb last played for us? Slightly longer, maybe.
Adrian Lamb hasn't had any experience of Super League for 15 years, really. 14, 15 years. So that's some time away from the British game.
It is, but O'Loughlin would have played with him then, wouldn't he? So O'Loughlin might be able to...
1 year.
I think there's a deal where he goes into a coaching role. So again, that's going to help O'Loughlin and Lamb kind of talk about what they achieved together when they were younger as well and the differences. So that can only be a positive thing and a new direction for O'Loughlin. So does that mean it's over?
That means it's just you. When you hear the moo, speaker, it's all you.
I've rambled on. I'm only like a third of the way through. So to summarise, it's a new era. It's the start of a new journey that we're starting all over again, which it's exciting times. It's not about the trophies for me. It's about us all being happy and recognising Wigan has a chance of being the best team in the world in a few weeks' time. What a time to be from Wigan. Do you know what I mean? The whole world of rugby league will be watching us, which is great. It's a new journey, as I've said. And obviously, a Lamb is going to bring fans from Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Australia as well, which is going to give us more of a global presence, which can only be a good thing. Yeah, and everything leads to Sean Edwards as well. A Wigan great, a rugby league great. Rugby league fans in general are going to be happy to see him back in the game.
That's it. You heard the talk. Time to stop.
So much more. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Okay, now we need the second speaker for the 4 team. Hello, Stuart.
Hello, Matt.
How are you doing?
I'm not so bad.
I've heard a rumour about you too, right? Now, Stuart, nobody's judging you here, okay? But is it true that you once decked Ronnie the Rhino?
Yeah, that's 100% correct.
Oh, God. Were the children watching?
I don't know. He had a great big helmet on, so there you go. Bigger than your helmet, so there you go. With only one horn on.
He was in a helmet, it was fine. Okay, so is everybody back?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so Stuart, you've got 5 minutes.
Okay,
when you hear the neigh, then Matthew and David, that's when you can say, hold my pie and interrupt. When you hear the moo, speaker, it's just you. And when you hear the cock, the speech must stop. Okay, Stuart, you ready?
Yeah, ready, Pop.
Your 5 minutes starts now.
Yeah, as you say, all this expectation this year, you know, it's going to be a good year. We've got all kinds to look forward to. You know, it's like Pat and Cram was saying before. Got the new camp, new ground to go to, you know, new magic area to go to. Everything, as Wigan Runner was saying before, basically the World Challenge, fantastic. And I just think, okay, players have gone out, but it's the ideal chance for these young ones to step up. Sekas Kabula, that man is just huge, and I cannot believe his age. You know, it's just massive, and I really think that this year, I think Gabe Hamlin is going to stand up to have a really go. Because last year I was really impressed with him. You know, when he had to come on and do the thing. Your own mate, Mr. Navarrete, yeah, I think he'll score a few tries this year. I'm just saying that, but I don't think he will. And I also think that. All right, yeah. And I also think that there's nothing to worry about in our kicking department, because as for Samet, I was a bit shocked when he come in, but I wasn't, because I've seen him play and his kicking, tactical kicking, is really good. And I think that'll take a lot of onus off George Williams with that. And I think his other all-round performance, his organising skills. I know it's a lot to step up from a big club, but he's the main man. You know what I mean? He's a good lad. He's not daft. His organising skill. I think it'll take a lot of onus off Tommy as well. You know what I mean? His assistant on the field, not just that. But I think this year we'll only lose O'Loughlin when we need him in the big games. You know what I mean? It's like they were on about before, O'Loughlin this and O'Loughlin that. But to me, Sean O'Loughlin is like, I think we'll only use him in the big games. You know what I mean? The cup games and that.
Hold my pie a moment.
Yeah.
Which side are you on?
Exactly. I was just going to say that. He's just banging the drum for us.
Tactics.
Oh, this is clever. Carry on.
Man games, you know what I mean? Can't be a bit of man games. But no, me realistically, I would be happy with a trip to Wembley for a change. You know what I mean? Winning Wembley. Because at the end of the day, the club was always like, it was always at Wembley. It was always known as Wigan's second home, Wembley. That cup, you know, it was always the thing where it was always expected that Wigan would go to Wembley back in the 80s and 90s and that. You know, it was always known as Wigan's second home. Me personally, I would love another chance at Wembley. I would be happy this year if we just got, how can I put it, a good game against the Roosters. I can't see us beating them, but you never know.
Now I'm back on track.
You know what I mean? I can't see it, but as you say, if I was to pick one silverware this year that we should really go for, I think it should be the Challenge Cup. Do you know what I mean? And I do really think that with Warrington, it will be there, yeah. I know I should wash my mouth out when I've just said that, but I really do think it's there, yeah. When you look at what they've brought in, you know what I mean? And I think that number 6 that they've brought, it's pure class. When he played for Canberra Raiders, it was pure class, and I was shocked when they got him. The guy that brought him from Sydney Rabbitohs, he's a class player. And I just think, this year it's going to be them.
Hold my pie. Stop deflecting attention talking about Warrington. It's about Wigan.
Yeah, okay, whatever. But I think if I was to pick a team, like a dark horse team this year to watch out for, I think
you got 1 minute.
I think it would be the Catalan Dragons. I really do think that this year, basically, it's our B team, isn't it? You know what I mean? You look at the guys that's there now. It's our B team, and I wouldn't be happy. I would be happy if we wouldn't.
You can't now, Matthew. It's too late. You had your chance to hold your pie.
Unlucky, mate. Never mind. And I would be happy. If they got it, would be like last year, Warrington against them boys, but in the grand final. And I would love if Catalan beat them. Thinking it would be their year, and then we could shout at them again. It's always your year, but this time Catalan winning them, and I think you get a lot of Wigan people back on them because of the Wigan connection there. Do you know what I mean? And for me, for one, I would be definitely there, cheering them on. Absolutely. So there you go. That's rounded up. I don't know how many seconds I've got left, but can't think of what else.
Thank you very much, Stuart. The double agent. Okay, so the final speaker for the against team, our final optimist, is Dangerous David Bailey. Where are you, Dave?
What have I just watched? Stitch up.
3-on-1.
As Mark pulls the knives out of his back.
Stop complaining, Mark.
Okay, David, right. My little bit of gossip about you, David, is that you once were on the books for an Aussie Rules football club called Ararat. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah, back in the day.
Yeah. I don't know much about Aussie Rules football, to be honest, so I Googled them, and it turns out that they don't know much about it either. Because it says here, Ararat Eagles, the footy team that never wins.
Well,
so what part did you play in that?
What part did I actually played, a couple of games for them, and the quarter of the game that I played on, we actually did quite well, but yeah, they weren't very good.
Ararat Eagles, the team that played quite well for quarter of a game.
Well, the thing is, I should have known. I should have known when I went to the training where they have a barbecue and beers after training. I mean, that should set the alarm bells ringing anyway. But then they asked me if I knew anything about Aussie Rules because I played rugby at the time. Because the captain had got a broken leg, somebody else had got a broken arm, somebody else had fractured the rib. So I should have had a bit of an idea about what was going to happen, really.
At least they weren't having the beers before training. That would have been slightly worse.
Probably helped, to be fair.
Yeah. Okay. I hope you've got your A game with you now. Your 5 minutes is about to start. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Go now.
Okay, so, I mean, thanks, Stu, for giving us a heads up and sort of promoting everything we want to speak about anyway. So, I can fill this 5 minutes with a little dance or something. No, we're back on track. Right, so lowering our expectations. I mean, why should we? So we'll look at, we're the champions, and I get Mark's point from earlier about, Bateman and Tompkins being the go-to players from last season. That's fine, but we're not losing that much experience in the grand scheme of things. If you look at, say, Sam Tompkins, for example, 29 years old, bringing in Zach Hardacre, who's not played, a Man of Steel more recently than Tompkins has been, so they both won the same individual honours, both played in the NRL, both played Super League. And if you look at Zach Hardacre's stats, I think he's only about 60 games behind Sam Tompkins in terms of appearances. Now, had he not suffered, a couple of naughty bans, he'd probably be about the same level as him. So we're not losing experience in that respect. Then you look at John Bateman as well, and you look at losing that. And, okay, Bateman's been a mainstay and sort of a go-to player. But for me, Bateman's more about defensively. We brought in Joe Greenwood. I mean, you show me one team in Super League that wouldn't love a back row of Farrell, Greenwood and O'Loughlin. And that's without mentioning other people like Willie Icer who can slot in. So in terms of playing personnel, yep, there's been a little bit of turnover. But we've not lost out that much. Bullock's coming in as a prop in place of Sutton. But again, it's Bullock will probably come in and slot into the bench spots. And as Stuart kindly pointed out earlier, we've got people like Hamlin and Navarrete who will step up to that level where Sutton were at. So again, playing wise, no issues at all. So
my pie.
Go on,
you didn't let me speak first, but go on, I'll be kind. While it's 3-on-1.
Well, that's because I knew it was a stitch-up.
It's 3-on-1.
all I've got to say really is a vote for me and Stu, or a vote for my team.
Vote for you.
Because I'm on my own as it happens. But it is a vote for me and Stu, and that's a vote for the team who knocked out Ronnie the Rhino. A vote for you guys is a vote for the team that didn't knock out Ronnie the Rhino. I don't know where else we've got to go. I've got nothing left because Stu left me on an island, and that's what we've got left.
I'll buy you a pint at Leeds match, Mark. No bother, son.
You owe me two.
Anyway, back on track. So then the other element we've got as well is the coaching personnel. Obviously, we're losing Sean Wayne, a Wiganer who's been the heartbeat of the team for quite some time. As Mark, pointed out a little bit earlier. Adrian Lamb might not have Super League experience, but Michael Maguire never had Super League experience, and it didn't stop him. One of the big things that we've had the last couple of years has been attacking the actual playing style. If we can keep that rigid defence, and then we can use Lamb's expertise to unlock people like Williams, which I know Matt's excited about as well, then we can score more points and we can be more fluid. So for me, yes, next season is going to be enjoyable because you've got the likes of the new camp, you've got the World Club Challenge, not once in a lifetime because we've won it a few times, but two like really unique events that don't come around very often. But we can also look at, we should be improving as a team. Greenwood's already slotted into the team. Go on.
I completely agree with you, David. Let's enjoy it. Why weigh ourselves down with the expectation of winning trophies when we can just enjoy it and see where we get to in the end? I completely agree with what you're saying. I'm on board. Let's enjoy it.
I agreed with what you were saying, though. But no, we can still win things. We're still the team that everybody wants to beat. That's never going to change. That's never going to change. Yeah. We're always going to have a marker on them, whether they're champions or not. So again, there's no added pressure. And the other thing is, there's no pressure, as you alluded to, there's no pressure on Lamb at all. He knows he's not going to be here next season, so he's not going to be forced into making team selections because he's desperate and he's scared of losing the next game. He can make the right decisions around O'Loughlin. It doesn't, he can rest O'Loughlin. He can afford those slip-ups. So again, we can play with that freedom, and that's why the expectations for me will be greater because there's no pressure. If we lose a game, so what? Lamb's not going to be panicking about his job because his job's not going to be there in 12 months anyway. Lamb's got to prove himself over here if he's going to get a ticket back to the NRL and get a job that's above an assistant manager's role. So for me, why should we lower our expectations? The squad should have improved. We've had a full season we've had a full pre-season for the likes of Hardacre. Sargenson's had his first full pre-season. He's been flying as well. So for me, there's very few negatives. The coaching staff, they'll all be wanting to prove a point. We've lost some of the assistant coaches, but there's new people and new players. As Stu alluded to, our third team member, you got the youngsters coming through, Kabula. So, as Stu drove that point home, that he's excited to see us and winning the Challenge Cup. So why shouldn't we get excited and be looking for those trophies? And it could be an absolutely amazing season, and aiming for those 3 trophies should be something to talk to. Oh, the cock.
When you hear the cock. Thank you very much. Now we're going to do something called Shot Clock Summary, where one member of each team has got 30 seconds to summarise all your team's points.
Can Stu summarise for them?
I'm going to suggest that Mark does it.
Go on, Mark.
Okay, so Mark, you've got 30 seconds starting. Hang on, wait. Now.
Oh.
Go.
I think if we setting ourselves up for isn't it a better feeling when you've got when you get more than you expect to get, when you upset the odds, when you beat the favourites, especially when the favourites, as Stu alluded to, Warrington and then throw St Helens in that, are our biggest rivals. Let's have real. I say, go into the season with an open mind, expect points, expect entertainment, expect tries, expect tries down the golden edge, but let's not be taking silverware.
Stop! The cock said stop. Okay, Matthew or David, who's going to do your shot clock summary?
I think I'm on a David lag here.
We're just trying to bring you down bit by bit. Teammates against you, lag.
So it's the David lag is catching. So who's going to go then, Matthew or David?
Do me to do it, David?
Yeah, can do. Fire away.
Okay. Matthew, your 30 seconds starts now.
Okay, so basically, best town in the world gets the chance to be the best team in the world officially in less than a month's time. We've got Lamb coming from the other side of the world, all the fans that are going to support Wigan in our country because of that as well. Got all these youngsters from Wigan that are going to get the chance to have their fame and do the right things for Wigan and help us win. You've still got a Lachlan, Talesman of Super League there that's going to be with the team. Everyone's still a close unit together. We've got new players.
That's it. At the cock. Thank you.
Seconds. It would not have been 30 seconds.
That was 30 seconds. You also had Stu on your team too, so you've got nothing to complain about. Okay, so thank you very much to all our speakers. Now it's up to you to vote for the team that you think should win. Is it going to be Mark and Mark, or is it going to be Matthew, Stu, and Dave? So think very carefully about that. I'm sure there'll be some kind of Facebook voting magic, courtesy of Sean Lawless, that I don't understand. And we will see you next time on the Wigan Rugby Fans TV Mass Debate. Thank you.